Oh, oh, oh my goodness. Bobby Petrino reportedly hired to be Arkansas's next offensive coordinator. This is not just me, but this is national reporters like Chris Lowe and local reporters like Trey Biddy. It is out there that this is probably going to happen. Now, we obviously just saw what happened with Mark Stoops in Texas A&M. I wouldn't be shocked if there is a last-minute change of heart, especially considering how things ended the last time Bobby Petrino was at Arkansas. But at this point, I would like to believe that Bobby Petrino is Arkansas's next offensive coordinator. Of course, he was Texas A&M's offensive coordinator this season. Texas A&M hires Mike Elko to replace Jimbo Fisher. Bobby back on the move yet again. He was at Missouri State before this, and then obviously with Arkansas and Louisville and so on and so on and so on. So first thing is, I know a lot of you look at me as a film guy, and you're going to want to get my film breakdown of Bobby Petrino going back to Arkansas, and you'll get that eventually. I do want to talk about the potential ramifications of this decision and why I think Arkansas decided to do this. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, exciting about Arkansas football next year. Nothing. Sam Pittman, this might be one of the most unpopular head coach retentions I can remember. Most of you Arkansas fans wanted Sam Pittman fired. And guess what? I agree with you. He was really bad this season. There was signs of regression from the year before. And then, of course, you had what happened this year. Some of you wanted Arkansas to roll with Kenny Guyton, who had a really good performance against Florida, but these last couple of performances have been less than stellar. Now, once again, he was put in a really tough spot, but I could have seen the justification of going with Kenny Guyton, but obviously I think Bobby Petrino is the best play caller of the past couple of decades. But this is something that I've always said about Arkansas football and just college football coaching in general. Bobby Petrino is the second consecutive retread hire that Arkansas has made as its offensive coordinator, right? Dan Enos was brought back, and he wasn't the same Dan Enos of old. Bobby Petrino is not the same Bobby Petrino of old. When you look at Texas A&M and what he was able to do this season, it was fine, right? There's always going to be a ceiling when Jimbo Fisher and his conservative fourth down decision-making and just his overarching ego is in your way. Also this season, Bobby Petrino had his quarterback hurt, Connor Wigman, in the first month of the year. He only got to coach him for 4 games. 2 of those was non-Power 5 games. And in the games that he actually had him, well, look, the Texas A&M offense lit up Miami, all right? The Texas A&M offense put up 27 points versus a really good Auburn defense. So, look, it's impossible to really grade Bobby Petrino just with one season at Texas A&M with a hellacious offensive line and a rotating door at quarterback. As someone who did go to the LSU Texas A&M game this past weekend, I personally am not like the hugest Bobby fan personally, as far as like who he is as a person, but his play calling versus LSU this past weekend was really good. So it looked like he got his fastball back. He had one of the best 2-point conversion designs I've seen in quite some time. It just wasn't properly executed. So, you know, I think from a film standpoint, Bobby still has some juice left in the tank. He might not be the same guy he once was way back in yesteryear, but he's to me, still a pretty good offensive coordinator. Okay, let's get to some of your comments before I get into some yard per play data, and potentially we can do some film breakdown of what Bobby has done with this Texas A&M offense. Let's go to Eddie here. He says, please, dear Lord, let it be true. The Silver Sergeant was the first one in here. He says the deal is done. It's not quite done until until it's done. It's not done yet. Okay. It might be agreed upon, but until the pen is on the paper and until you get the official press conference, nothing is done. So yeah, Fishman, my source is the same sources that you have, national reporters, local reporters, and so on and so on. Now, the next thing is the good thing from an Arkansas perspective is that this was done quickly, right? So now you were able to get this done before the early signing period, or agreed upon per se. If you are able to get his signature, you can not only go to all the recruits that you have committed for this crop, you can also now do something very interesting. You can go to KJ Jefferson and say, hey, look, this is the most accomplished offensive coordinator one man could possibly hire. You have your head coach back. Bobby Petrino is a way better play caller than Dan Enos. Do you want to come back and be a part of something and really etch your name in the history books of one of the best quarterbacks and one of the best players to ever play at Arkansas? I think that would pretty much be something KJ Jefferson would like, right? If he were to come back, he would further all the records that he already holds. And I also think Rocket Sanders would be interested in coming back. I do think, in particular, KJ would be smart to at least put his name in the portal and see what's out there. But I will also say this. I think KJ would be a pretty good fit with what Bobby wants to do, because Bobby has always done a really good job of fitting what he does around the talent that he has. Okay. Now we go to Crypto Hog. KJ won't be able to run his offense. Love the guy, but you have to be able to read defenses. Okay. I get this comment all the time. All the time. Well, KJ Jefferson can't read defense. Which college quarterback do you see make full field reads? Okay. When you mean read the defense, what do you mean by that? Memo to everyone. Not everybody's good at reading defenses. Also, not everyone is good at reading defenses when you just fielded the worst offensive line I have ever seen at Arkansas. I really do think this offensive line was worse than either one of Chad Morris's offensive lines. So you ask KJ to change his style of play to a pro-style quarterback, which, by the way, it would be something, Crypto Hog, if Dan Enos has had a ridiculous amount of success everywhere he's been, but he's not. He's been kind of middle of the road everywhere he's been. So you got to learn a new system, which is more complicated, throw to receivers that aren't really all that great. Offensive line, or your two best tight ends get hurt, and you have no time to throw. Okay. PFF charted this, and most of the sacks that KJ Jefferson took wasn't on him. Okay. So look, I think Bobby has worked with all different types of quarterbacks, and I think he could be successful with KJ Jefferson. Y'all just don't get it. Quarterbacks don't just fall off a cliff like KJ Jefferson did. They just don't. He had no QBRs less than 70 versus Power 5 competition the year before this one. And then this year, you just think he automatically forgets how to play football? No. Okay. So there you go. Are you telling me to shut up, Woo Pig? It's interesting, man. You're telling me to do that on my own channel. You're a tough guy. So if this is true, let's go get our guy back that Auburn signed. Wait, which guy? You tell me. That's if KJ wants to come back. I could totally see him packing his bags because he sees his fan base just trashing him. at every turn. Okay. Walker White, the 2024 kid out of Little Rock. Very interesting. What's up, Lawson? Good to see you. What's up, man? Been a while. Like the hire here. So let me ask you guys this. Would you guys like more Razorback live streams during the offseason? I would love to do more. I tried to do some on top of the film studies that we already did. So you guys let me know if you would like to see more of it, or if you would just like me to shut up and just do film studies. That's perfectly fine as well. You let me know. Okay. You Razorback fans have been carrying a good chunk of this channel. Arkansas fans, Tennessee fans, Auburn fans have really pushed it. Okay. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. Now, next thing. Let's actually take a look at some yard per play numbers. Okay. What's up, Jared A? Good to see you. CFPstats.com. We go to the Southeastern Conference, and first thing I want to show you is all games, yard per play numbers in 2022. So Texas A&M averaged 5.73 before Bobby got there. And this season, they averaged 5.89. So this offense took a step forward with Bobby Petrino on a play-by-play basis by a full 1/10 of a yard. Okay, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is improvement, so I'll take it. Now, the numbers I really want you to look at here when it comes to yard per play numbers, type Y for yes if you're able to see this, okay, versus FBS Power 5. Bobby Petrino was a 5.54 average versus the Power 5. Okay. Now, why is that important? That means his offense took a severe hit when they actually played real schools. So their non-conference schedule really helped out the over yard per play numbers. Okay. The overall yard per play numbers. But I want you to take a look in August, in September, Texas A&M was at 6.46 yards per play. That is really high. Now, why is that important? Well, the schedule was very soft, but that was when they had their actual quarterback, Connor Wigman, running the show. So they were already in the top half of the SEC at 6.46 yards per play. Really good stuff. Okay. Now, obviously, things regressed when Max Johnson became their starter. But there you go. Once again, you guys, I don't get the KJ hate. I don't get it, right? I honestly think it would be a good move for him to go somewhere new where he for sure can start. But if you think Jacoby Criswell is a better option than KJ Jefferson, I've got some timeshares to show to sell you guys. Y'all are just going crazy. All right. Kevin says Bobby will be able to go get whoever he wants out of the portal. And there are a lot of quarterbacks that are in the portal that I would be very interested in if I were Arkansas. I think Will Howard at Kansas State, that would make a lot of sense for all parties involved. It really, really, really would. Okay. Will Howard at Kansas State was a very good starter. Going from Kansas State to Arkansas isn't really anything too drastic. If KJ were to pack his bags and Howard were to come over, you would have a guy who does have some running ability, not an elite runner, obviously, like KJ Jefferson, but he's a guy that can run Bobby's offense. Tyler Van Dyke is another guy that's in the portal. You do lose the running aspect with Tyler Van Dyke. Also, something else about Tyler is he does have a tendency to get hurt, but he's someone that could come in, read defenses, move the football around, a little bit more of a traditional pocket quarterback. He is basically Ryan Mallett without a Ryan Mallett arm. Okay. Can get a little erratic with his accuracy at times, but I think that would be someone that could do what is needed to be done. But the first thing that needs to be done is you have got, and I mean got, to rebuild this offensive line. Now, truth be told, I'm not sure there's many offensive coordinators out there that could have succeeded with the offensive line that Arkansas had. But the first thing Bobby is going to need to do when he gets to Arkansas is run scheme that gets the football out quickly and honestly takes pressure off the offensive line. Okay. Now, this is coming from someone that breaks down film of all the SEC teams. Okay. I watch the LSUs of the world. Okay. Arkansas doesn't have the LSU guys, and they definitely don't have the LSU guys that they have this year. But the one thing, when I look at Tennessee's offense, when I look at Ole Miss's offense, one thing I really like when I watch them is they run a lot of things that do not require perfect blocking, right? They'll pull a guard one way and run the other, right? They'll give the linebackers a lot of eye candy. And this year, the biggest difference between Kendall Briles and what Dan Enos tried to do was a lot of what Enos wanted to be done required offensive linemen making very difficult blocks. You don't want that. An offensive line that struggles to even stay on their feet. It's tough, right? The next thing is obviously, and Arkansas fans, feel free to correct me. You guys know this team as well, if not better than me. Bo Limmer has a decision to make. Okay. Bo Limmer, could he come back next season and be the center for Arkansas? Okay. Well, why? I don't know why you would unsubscribe for. You will not find a bigger KJ Jefferson fan than me. You will not, especially somebody that is not an Arkansas fan. Let me repeat, I am not an Arkansas fan. You can figure out pretty quickly who I'm a fan of. If you want to unsubscribe from my channel, it's fine. You can do whatever you want. But I am not. I am not the one. Like, if you hate KJ Jefferson, then you should unsubscribe. But there you go. Yeah, and there's no way you could say anything about Jacoby Criswell. Okay, like, there's just nothing you could say about him at this point, right? The only way you could say anything about Jacoby Criswell from the Missouri game is if he was the starter from the get-go, which would mean the game plan would have been catered around him instead of KJ, right? So there you go. But the team that I'm a fan of gets on me all the time for how much I love KJ Jefferson. Okay. Here's Kevin. Everyone was a KJ fan until he was smiling after the Auburn loss. That's not a leader's mentality. He can move on. Ryan Mallett would never. Kevin, come on. KJ Jefferson wins all these games, has insane stats, holds all these different records. But get this, y'all. He smiled. He smiled one time. He smiled. Really? Smiling? Just smiling? That's it? That's it? When the camera's always on you? And he played through all the different injuries and stuff that he's played through? It's crazy. Okay. Let's go to Chris here. What's up, Chris? Welcome. Chris with the suit. I love it. Bobby would be a great hire. Now, let me ask you this. If I were to tell you, whoever you are watching this right now or listening to this down the road, would you, let me rephrase this. Has your opinion of Sam Pittman changed at all because of this hire? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Okay. Has your opinion changed? Are you more pro Sam Pittman? Fishman, okay. You can have any opinion that you want. But the dumbest, and I hate to say this is dumbest, but the dumbest thing you can do is point to any single quarterback and say, the record is who you are. Stop this. That's part of why I have this channel, okay, is to change the way we talk about football. KJ had one regular season above 500. What the hell does that mean? You are the same person that probably wants Bo Nix to win the Heisman over Jaden Daniels because he has 3 losses. It's dumb. Individual success has nothing to do with wins and losses. Nothing. And wins and losses is only just a minuscule part of who you are as a football player. Okay? Minuscule. Minuscule. It's dumb to say that any one player is a reason why any team wins or loses. You might have been a 4-win team the last year with Kendall Briles if KJ Jefferson wasn't your quarterback. In fact, Bobby Petrino is beating Missouri State. Bobby Petrino at Missouri State wins that game versus Arkansas if KJ Jefferson wasn't your quarterback. Okay? Lunacy. Lunacy. Let's go to Chris. He says, Sam can help Bobby with the on-field decisions, and Bobby can help Sam with the off-field decisions. I will say this. I did see a tweet. I don't remember who it was, so one of you guys can correct me. I do think Jeff Long moved back to NWA recently. So you guys tell me. Oh, God. I need Jeff Long and Bobby Petrino on a podcast together. Okay. But this idea that, KJ Jefferson smiles and y'all want to shit all over him. Really? He smiled? God forbid. But we smiled when we were losing. And guess what? He's a reason why y'all beat Auburn the year before in Auburn. Okay? I can't believe I have got to be the one that comes in and defends the quarterback that has all your records. Okay? All your records. It's mind-boggling to me. All right? But back to Petrino. I'll be honest. He called a really good game versus LSU this past weekend. He really, really, really did. I mean, he had guys schemed wide open. Now, I will tell you this. That LSU defense is really bad. The next thing that I think will be very interesting for Arkansas, how does Bobby Petrino and T. Will pair with each other, right? Offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, how are they going to work together, right? If Bobby wants to play at a faster pace, then guess what? T. Will's going to need to get in that portal and build a deeper team, right? Because you're going to play more plays during the course of a season and in the course of a game. Okay. I was on a different note, a little disappointed to see Chris Paul go to the portal. Let me know how you guys felt about Paul this year. Very disappointing season for me. I think a lot of you watched the games from the year before. There were some games he took over, right? I think you guys saw Jaden Daniels this season. Chris Paul was able to sack him a few times, and any LSU fan could tell you Jaden Daniels is really hard to sack. I was very shocked at how inconsistent he was. I still would have liked to have seen him back from an Arkansas perspective. So you've got to really get after it in the portal to get some defensive guys. I think for me, Arkansas, one guy that I would make a phone call to right now, and maybe he's made an announcement and I haven't seen it, but guys like Landon Jackson that still have eligibility left, but still could go to the NFL if they want to. I think Landon Jackson is going to have a little bit more NFL love than one would think. I think Landon's a good player. I don't think he's like an elite player, but I think that's going to be another guy that Arkansas is going to need to re-recruit. Okay. But yeah, yeah, David, welcome to the channel. Good to see you. All right. Let's go to Big Donnelly. With respect, you aren't close enough to the program to say it was just a smile. KJ gave up in several games this season and doesn't show leadership qualities all the time. Okay. So please tell me, in which games did he give up? Is it the Missouri game where his leg ripped into two? What? I think everybody kind of gave up in the Auburn game. I mean, if you're going to call it KJ, you got to call it everybody else in a pretty hilariously bad blowout. And KJ was terrible. There were some games this year where he was just bad. Texas A&M missed some throws, missed the deep shot to Armstrong in that game. That was huge. Ole Miss, he wasn't that great, but he was able to come back in the second half and get you guys in that game. And in the Alabama game, he was sensational. I mean, the fact that he had y'all within a game-winning possession versus the Arkansas and versus Alabama on the road in Tuscaloosa is crazy. What am I doing with the girls' volleyball team? I don't know. I guess it's news to me. I don't know. Do they need me to come out there do some play-by-play or coach? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about volleyball. I know what a libero is. Long pole legend. Are those? I'm not a hunter, but are these some mallards here that we're holding, Dan? It's crazy, man. My guy's double fisting these ducks, man. Or no, that wouldn't be double fisting. He would need to have two ducks in two hands. But there you go. I do agree. Okay. I cannot state this enough. I am not sure you guys are beating Kent State if KJ Jefferson wasn't your quarterback. Hardly anybody was getting open. None of the running schemes were working. Kent State was the worst team in college football this year, arguably. Okay. That would have been a close game if he wasn't your quarterback. Then you had the BYU game. All right. When the offensive line really began to fall apart, they could not stay on their feet in the second half. All right. Oh, a joke regarding Bobby Petrino. Let me ask you this. All right. Regarding the end of the Bobby Petrino era. Okay. And this is more, if you're a younger Arkansas fan, you probably don't really have an opinion of it because this was so long ago. But do you, whoever you are watching this right now, do you feel one way or the other about the end of the Petrino era? Were you furious at him? Were you like, dang, we should keep him anyway because he was 21-5? Let me repeat that. 21-5 with the Sugar Bowl under his belt. A close Sugar Bowl versus Ohio State. Could you imagine saying that sentence aloud? That you played in the Sugar Bowl, iconic New Orleans venue. How many of you wanted him fired after the incident? Okay. How many of you wanted him gone? All right. While you answer that, I do have a clip for you. Okay. This is the extra spicy analysis. All right. This is from Mason Choate, who has shared a few things of mine on social media in the past. So that's really cool. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
But I also wanted to come here to thank you for everything that people in this room and in the state did for me and my family. You were great to us. You know, you're a special group, special crowd, and you don't really understand how much effect that y'all have on the players and their families and the support, and how much that means. And you know, there's no question the Hogs can come back, but they're going to need everybody's help here. So stay with them and keep supporting them, because you are what makes the University of Arkansas a special job. There's no question about it.
This freaking sport. Oh my God. Oh man. Let's go to Brian. He says, I think I would be more beat about him coming back if he hadn't just pulled a classic Petrino with UNLV. Hard to argue he's changed for the better when he did that 12 months ago. Yeah, that was crazy. I'll tell you this, and I don't want to throw gasoline on this fire. I do think Arkansas needed to get an offensive-minded coach. I would say this though: if I had to choose as a potential Arkansas fan, okay, if you were to tell me, hey, you have to choose between one or the other, would I take Sam Pittman and Bobby Petrino, or would I take Barry Odom and Brennan Marion? Okay, I'm obviously taking Barry Odom and Brennan Marion. I would have gone in that direction. Okay. It's pretty clear that Barry Odom is a good head coach, right? He went to UNLV. He was the coach of the year in the conference. And Brennan Marion is a very young, bright offensive coordinator that is talked about like crazy in coaching circles. But I always stand by what I've always said about Bobby Petrino. Okay. He is the best play caller of the past couple of decades. He just is. There are a lot of people that are in that conversation. Obviously, Gus Malzahn's in that conversation. Obviously, the Bryles tree is definitely in that conversation. Kiffin, there's a lot of different guys. Mike Leach that deserve to be discussed amongst the GOAT play callers. But when Bobby is cooking, nobody can touch that guy. Nobody, right? He was freaking ridiculous, okay? And as good as Greg Childs and Joe Adams and obviously Williams and all those guys were, not many of them did anything in the NFL, right? So this was a program that was number 3 nationally, okay? And up 14-0 versus one of the best LSU teams of all time. And then Tyrann Mathieu happened. He's one of the best players ever. if Tyrann Mathieu didn't exist, that game would have been very close, right? If Bobby is locked in and ready to go, this mother effer is the real deal between the headsets. Sure, he is awkward. I have had my personal awkward encounter with Bobby Petrino. Ironically, it happened at a baseball field of all places. This guy is so freaking good. He is a freaking genius, okay? If everything goes to plan, a lot of this is going to come down to personnel. And this very well could be a one-year rental for the second straight year in a row. Bobby Petrino is joining another coach who has offensive leanings. This also can go awry because Bobby, of course, has an ego. Obviously, a lot with Bobby Petrino when he was at Arkansas was different. There's all different stories about how Bobby wasn't the most relatable guy in the world, but there are quite a few offensive coaches and just coaches in general that are rough around the edges. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out, but I think this will be a step in the right direction. Okay, I do. Alec says Cliff Kingsbury. Josh and Wendy. I need Josh and Wendy live. What kind of content do you guys do, or do y'all do? Kind of, I don't know. I need to join Josh and Wendy. I don't know if y'all hunt, farm, knit. I don't know. We can collab. We can do it. Had is a key word. We will not get to 3 again unless we start recruiting better. I'll tell you this: you won't get to 3. Okay, you just won't. There's nothing against y'all. All right, nothing against y'all. Nothing. You're just not going to get to 3. All right, as in the number 3 ranked team. That is y'all ceiling. All right, I don't think that's something that can happen. And I don't think you guys are irrational enough to ask for that. For you, type right now in the comments section, all right, what is the over-under win total next season for you to be happy with Sam Pittman moving forward? Is it 6-6? Is it 7-5? Is it 8-4? And let me include this as well. If you guys have a question and you super chat it like Roby did just then, I go straight to your question. There's a lot of people in here firing questions in. If you guys, this is also a good opportunity because I don't do a lot of live streams on this channel. If you guys want me to start doing them again, I would do them Thursday nights at 6. I am a play-by-play basketball announcer. I do a lot of games. In South Arkansas, actually. Go Stars. If you, but I don't do a lot of live streams. If you guys have a question about, if you guys have a film-related question, feel free to ask me. Okay. One-on-one says, appreciate all your coverage of the Hogs, especially the film studies. Keep it coming, my man. If you guys, and this is a good opportunity, there's 209 of you in here. If there is one play in particular, and a lot of you are saying 8-6. Oh yeah, you have 8-6. I think he meant to say 8-4, 7-5. Bobby is the head coach in 2025. I don't know about that. I mean, what he would be 64? I mean, I think him and Brian Kelly are around the same age, so I guess it's not too old. 8-4 before the bowl. Everybody welcome Rabid. Smoking. Okay, you're not going to win 10 games next year. Okay. Wait, is this the Rusty Shackelford? Good to see you. Hey, long pole legend. One of y'all got to take me hunting. Okay, my My father-in-law is an avid hunter. Okay. Bobby says, F that. We just need a team that and go commits targeting penalties. Okay. Let me pull it up here. All right. Let's pull up the 2024 Arkansas schedule. Okay. I hate that game next year is in Missouri. From an Arkansas perspective, I prefer the tougher games be on the road, right? I would prefer the weaker games to be at home for obvious reasons. Okay, where if you're an elite team, you want the opposite, right? You want your weaker teams on the road. So let's see here. If you guys have a film question, feel free to ask. Okay. If there is one play that I would recommend you guys go watch, and I could potentially pull it up here. Okay. So this is the schedule for Arkansas next season. Okay. Yeah, obviously it's kind of tricky. I'm interested to see which game will be placed on the 21st. Before the Texas A&M game. Obviously, some games have already started to leak here on the schedule. Louisiana Tech on November 23rd. I love where that game is placed. But the one thing I would do if I'm Hunter Yurachek, and this should have been done prior, and I don't know how much Hunter has say on this. Normally, the AD doesn't do most of your actual tedious scheduling, right? He has someone that is devoted whose job that is, right? It's normally like an associate's athletic director or something like that. One thing, and I've met Hunter a few times. I talked to him in an airport a few months ago. You cannot let your team play 4 road games in a row. I honestly, taking playoffs out of a consideration, right? Because if you're going on a long playoff run, you're going to play a bunch of road games in a row if you're a lower seeded team or whatever. I don't recall a football team on any level that had to go on the road 4 straight weeks and losing that BYU game before going on the 4-game road trip was death. That was the season, right? You should never play 4 road games in a row. You should avoid playing back-to-back road games. You played 4. These are collegiate students who have to go to class, do all this stuff. Getting on a plane 4 consecutive weeks? Really? I mean, you're not a freaking world traveler. You're not a hedge fund manager flying around the country meeting with clients or something like that. You should never play 4 consecutive road games in a row again. Okay. Alec, you have been very good in the chat. Decent, I say we don't have SEC receivers. Armstrong's an SEC receiver. I would prefer him to be a number 2. I don't think he is a number 1. But yeah, you don't have that number 1. Tesla is a good player. I do think they put too much on his shoulders this year, including playing punt team. I would have never, I never liked my starting receivers playing on any special teams. Never. Most underrated Isaac TeSlaa play was the touchdown throw versus Florida that he had. That was only dropped because Armstrong, got knocked unconscious. That was one of the best throws I've ever seen a wide receiver make. And that's a random fact or whatever. But yeah, I think Armstrong's legit. I do. But I would say like Andrew Armstrong's probably like the same ability of like a Greg Childs, like we mentioned a little bit earlier. A good player, but I don't know if he's elite, if that makes sense. I'll tell you one guy who is a big winner today is Luke Haas. Huge winner today. Okay. And once again, his rehab and all that stuff is going to be key, but you still need to re-recruit him back to the roster. I know he had an NIL deal with Bobby Bones and all that stuff, but Luke Haas is going to be the guy next year for your team. Something else from a film perspective that I think of, if Bobby's personnel, if they can't, and wide receivers, you can get those guys in the portal. There are receivers that you can, wide receiver is a position that I think is a little bit more portal friendly, right? One thing I think you'll see Bobby do more of next season is run something called 12 personnel, which is 2 tight end sets. The dumbest thing Dan Enos did, especially with a pro style system, if I looked at my personnel and I eventually came to the conclusion that my 2 best receivers were transfers from D2 FCS level programs, and I had a 4-star tight end and his backup Ty Washington's a really good player, I would have said, F it. Let's do 12 personnel. Let's run 2 tight end sets, especially with the crappy offensive line. And let's not run 11, which is what everyone else does. Georgia, of course, does more 12 personnel than most. They haven't done as much this year as compared to last year, but I wouldn't have had Washington just rotting on the bench because the dude can flat out play. So yeah. Sherry Berry coming in hot. It's one of my best friends, y'all. He'll replace Sam before it's over. Is this true? Y'all had more wins on the road than at home? Is that true? Y'all, what, Florida? No, I don't think that's true, is it? Dang, everybody's got like a little hunting and fishing channel, and I don't get any invites. Arkansas's Board of Trustees made a policy after Petrino's firing. No coach fired for cause may be rehired in any position in the UA school system. Guess they're going to change this policy. Sure, you don't rehire a softball coach. Don't rehire a track and field. Well, track and field is good at Arkansas. Don't rehire a tennis coach or anything like that. It's football, though, right? People, they don't care about that. Now, the Board of Trustees are like, wait, that's a rule we put in place? No. Also, I need one of you guys to step up if you really want to make a nice super chat, because I learned today, one of my really close buddies is a guy by the name of Aaron Torres. He's a national college football reporter and writer for Fox Sports Radio, okay? And his main thing actually is college basketball. He's close with Eric Musselman. He's going to the Arkansas Duke game. I don't have an Arkansas Duke ticket. I will make the trip to Fayetteville for Arkansas Duke. So if one of you guys want me to go with you to the game and you got an extra ticket, I'm not going to stand in that student line, though, that's like 1,000 people deep. Let's go to Kingsley. Desperate and morally bankrupt move if it happens. True. Okay. It is desperate. Arkansas is looking to sell tickets. This is true. It's probably the truest thing we said here. Morally bankrupt. True. There were a lot of people's lives that were dramatically changed over everything that happened with Bobby Petrino and the mistress, who is, I believe, ended up marrying someone in football anyway. Desperate. It's true. But here's the truth. Go to every SEC program. almost every single one of them has some form or fashion a desperate and morally bankrupt move. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that it's right. It's just football has never been a beacon of morality, if you will. Okay. They did. They got Trey Harris, who's a beast. What's wrong with the swim coach? Bot, welcome. People don't care about morals and integrity anymore, and it's sad. Okay. Yeah, it's true, but it's whatever. I hope you guys hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But yeah, if you guys want to hook me up with that Duke ticket, you guys got to get to it. Okay. Now, would you guys like to do a little Petrino film study here? Let me pull this. I want to show you this play right here. Hopefully, YouTube lets me do this and doesn't take down this whole thing. Actually, I'll save it. I'll save it for a separate video. But there was one play in particular that he ran versus LSU that I had never seen before. I've never seen Bobby run it. I've never seen anybody else run it. Okay. It was divine, to say the least. Okay. Okay. Patrick says, I want to win. Okay. I think everybody here wants to as well. But I think Patrick's point is more so, I don't give a crap about all that other stuff. Okay. Now, if you're on Twitter, please give me a follow at Card of the Power. Okay. You remind me of a girl that I once knew. At Card of the Power is where you can find me, right here. Type Y for yes if you follow me on Twitter. Bot says he's all about it. I was actually cutting a Tennessee Vanderbilt film study. I got a text saying, hey, this is really, really, really starting to pick up. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Arkansas is for sure winning 10 games. I say 10. Is for sure winning 8 games next year. Type Y for yes, type N for no. UAPB, UAB, W's. Louisiana Tech, they're bad. W. And then, you get Texas in DWR. Are you kidding me? The game's in November, though. That's tough. You get LSU at home, Ole Miss at home, Tennessee at home. All 3 schools, or 2 of those 3 out-recruit you. At Auburn, man, they're going to be tough next year with the Freeze offense in year 2. At Mississippi State, at Missouri. Missouri gets Luther Burden back. Brady Cook's probably back. Gotta go on a short week. More than likely, that game will still be on a Friday on Rivalry week. Now go follow me, man. Now better follow me on the twitter.com. Let's see. I think one of y'all just followed me. Here we go. 1-1 just follow me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It goes a long way, man. I'm not big time. Ooh, that's a good question, Alec. I can't answer that without a ton of bias, obviously, because one of my guys is in it. So take my guy out of it. I would give it to Moore of Michigan, because he actually had to be a head coach, right, in the middle of all of this, and he beat Ohio State. He outcoached Ryan Day. So I would give it to Sharon Moore. I would. But then again, Mike Denbrock would be my pick. So there you go. It's crazy, though. Absolutely crazy. A weird official as a whistle? Blow the whistle. Ha, 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 ha. Dang, dude, why is it that you guys just want to shit all over KJ? I don't get it. I don't know. That comment is a little, it's a lot, bot. That's a lot. Number one, you're crapping over the great people of Arby's and Popeyes, two fantastic establishments. And I don't understand why that's always a default bad job. Okay. The next thing is KJ's good. Like, okay, let's just say KJ isn't back at Arkansas. You feel good with Jacoby Criswell being the guy? Okay. But yeah, that comment was a little much. Okay. It's just Chris. It's just simple. Like, watch the games. Okay, watch the games, and if you watch the games, you'll see that KJ had bad moments this year. He regressed. He regressed mightily. All right, he had bad games this year. But your environment is everything. Okay, I'm telling you right now. Guys, when they get older, quarterbacks almost always at the Legion level, as they get older, get better. Okay. So you're telling me KJ, who did not have a QBR south of 70 versus a Power 5 team last year, you're telling me that he just forgot to play football? That he just stinks? Okay. And I wouldn't be the one to tell you that it's just the offensive line, or it's just the fact that his best skill guy was from Texas A&M Commerce, or it's just the fact that his two best tight ends got hurt. He regressed, but he's not bad. Okay, he's not bad. All right, it's lunacy. Okay. So once again, you're assuming that KJ's just stupid. So you're telling on yourself, right? You think he's dumb? I mean, he doesn't know anything about football? No, Browse ran the scheme he always runs. Okay. It's always interesting, right? I'm sure y'all are the same people that thought Brandon Allen sucked. And probably one of y'all watching this right now is the one that burned down Brandon Allen's truck. And it is my life's mission to figure out who burned Brandon Allen's truck to a crisp. Prime Mike. Thank you, Long Pole Legend. But I don't want this whole chant to be about about KJ. But I will go on any Arkansas channel. I'll go on any Arkansas website, any Arkansas show. I'll go on your show if you want me to. Okay. To defend KJ Jefferson. All right. And be honest at the same time. Be honest. I'll be honest. Okay. Now let's take a few more. If you guys want to keep going, I don't mind continuing to do a live stream. I don't. There's 193 of you guys in here right now. If you want to continue, get your question in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But if you super chat, we'll keep going. All right. Because if you pay your hard-earned money to get my expert opinion on something, guess what? I'm going to give you everything I got. All right. Yeah, Malachi Singleton's very interesting. Obviously, a ton of athleticism, right? The dude is built like a bowling ball, man. He's a unit, right? I think it would be lunacy to get rid of Travis Williams. He was very good this year. I always like a coach who has a chip on his shoulder, right? And you can just tell the way he calls defense, like he really wanted this to work, right? You know, he wasn't retained at Auburn, which is a school that he loves probably more than anyone. And, you know, he goes to UCF and then he gets here and it wasn't, you know, the most well-received hire. I thought he was, for the most part, good. Now, there were some weird calls mixed in there. I was like, I wouldn't have done this here, wouldn't have done this there, but I think for the most part he was pretty good. I do. Okay. Mitch Mustang and Tyler Wilson, have been your best QBs in the last 20 years or so. Yeah, I strongly disagree with that. I think Brandon Allen's better than both of them. I just do. So there you go. The next thing I would say to that is I think KJ is better than both of them as well. All right. Never nervous with the super chat. You get to, this is your question. Okay. All right. This is your time to shine. Okay. Razorback fan, welcome. Hope you hit the subscribe button. All right. Yeah, I don't think Kennedy's going to be retained. I don't. Yeah, pass that over here. All right, this is Never Nervous to Super Chat right here. How many games do I believe Arkansas is going to win? All right, so I'm going to give you a very political cop-out kind of answer. Okay. And here we go. I think obviously the over-under next year will probably set. I would guess Arkansas would be around 6. I think that's about where their number would be. Okay, so that's a pretty low number. Here's the issue with guessing this right now. We don't know when the games will be played. Okay. I think a big reason why Arkansas stunk this year is that they had to play 4 road games in a row. Right. I've done a lot of research on this. Back-to-back road games are brutal. They are so brutal. You played 4 in the row. Now, one of those was a neutral game, but you still have to go on a plane and travel and play a Texas A&M team with more talent after, you know, another road game. Okay, so I hated that. Really, really, really did. So this on your screen is not the order of the games, right? Texas will be in November. Louisiana Tech will be in November. That Louisiana Tech game is probably going to be the week before the Missouri game. And the Texas A&M game is set for September 28th. So you very well could have a road game right there on September 21st. Okay. So you've got to be careful. All right. You got to be careful with those back-to-backs. Okay. So I think right now, never nervous. I'm going to give you 6. I think you're a 6-6 team, but there's so many portal things that are going to change. Your entire roster is going to change. I think a good question, never nervous, would be is how many guys do you think coming back to next year's team can you, without reasonable doubt, say are good football players? Okay. How many guys would you say are good football players coming back next year? Okay. Braxton is a decent corner. We saw him make some big plays versus Florida, and then we saw him have a game like he had versus Auburn, right? So I'll tell you this: I love him to death, and you'll never forget that 2020 Ole Miss performance. But I'm kind of ready to move on from the Hudson Clark era, right? One thing that I think really hurt Arkansas this past year was Singletary, the 5-star transfer, number 15, just stunk. He just laid an egg of a season. There were a lot of DBs who had elite top 100 recruiting pedigree that went to the SEC and transferred somewhere else and just could not play. Okay. So there you go. I can't tell you today if Rocket Sanders is going to be back. I can't tell you today if KJ or even Criswell or Malachi is going to be back. What offensive lineman is good that could come back? I am not sure if any of them are good. Okay. So you're going to say 5 wins over the last 12 years? Arkansas has won 60 games. Oh, okay. Because my bad. I didn't make good grades. 5 times 12 is 60. Well, I didn't make good grades in college. Let's go to Anton here. Okay. The guy from that movie. What's this? Josh Brolin. They lost because Sam runs a very undisciplined team. Missouri game was a bad look. Johnny is coming in hot. Let's do this. Let's give something out since you guys have been so good. Even though there have been some suspect comments in here. Suspect. The next $20 super chat gets a Rashad Dubinion rookie card. Okay, next $20 super chat. Or if you prefer a KJ card, I could send you a KJ card. Or I could send you a Rocket Sanders card. Next $20 super chat. We'll get that. Okay. Brandon, it's not a PSA Brady. I have a bunch of Burrow stuff. I do a football card show. I do a football card show every Tuesday. Okay. Chris says, what is wrong with AJ Green and why is he getting no love? Last year, Arkansas homer couldn't get his name out of their mouth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. AJ had some good moments. Obviously, the BYU run up the right side was really good. Man, there were some yards he left on the field, And I believe it was a run in the Florida game that made me go, whoa, God. I'd have to go back and look at all the film studies. Okay. I don't think Green or Dominion are bad per se. One thing that Bobby is going to need to totally revamp is how you guys protect in the backfield. I have never, all my years of watching film of SEC teams, okay, never in my existence, in my soul, have I seen running back so bad at pass protection as Arkansas's. And some of it was on Dan, okay? Y'all, that is Dookie Water, the running back pass protection. Dookie Water. We say hi to Alan. What's up, Alan? Welcome to the channel. Oh, my guy, Alan. I love it, man. Yeah, I'm guessing you're a Mo Salah fan or a Jabril Cisse. Now, that's a throwback right there. You're a Dirk Kuyt fan. I love it. Yeah, I am a huge Liverpool fan, so I got engaged at Anfield last year. So it's I didn't say that, but someone else said that. Lion VR says, I'm smoking crack if I think Brandon Allen was better than Tyler Wilson. Okay. Hot take. It might just be I'm a little biased towards BA. It might be. I do think Brandon was better than Tyler Wilson. I do. That Brandon Allen, Drew Morgan connection. Fire, bro. Fire. Yeah, he's with the 49ers. And also, one of Brandon's really good friends is one of my really good friends. So I've never met Tyler Wilson, and I think I've met Brandon, I think, once. So maybe I'm totally off base about that, though. Maybe I am. That's fine. If I were to rank the Arkansas quarterbacks, I would still have KJ number 1, though. I would. All right. This is a good question here from Brandon. Green, Dominion, Augustave or Augustive, and Dominique Johnson are all solid. The only guy out of those 4 I would say I'm very interested in moving forward is Augustive. Dominique Johnson, kind of a weird season for him. He just doesn't have that same juice after the injury. The Missouri run was really, really special, but it was against a lot of backups. Dominion and Green are fine players, just wildly inconsistent. I really do like Isaiah, though. I do. I've done a lot of research on this. One of the most important things you can have as a running back is weight, right? You think of some of the best, and just think about this, okay? Some of the best running backs at Arkansas, what were they? They were thick, or they were units, right? Like Darren McFadden was a unit. Now, he wasn't the heaviest guy, but he was a unit, right? Peyton Hillis was a freaking unit. Michael Smith, a little bit on the smaller side, but he was a good player. And then, of course, Alex Collins and Jonathan. Those guys were freaking stud muffins. Rakeem Boyd, thick, right? I like my running backs thick, y'all. Thick. I like them thicker than cold peanut butter. I like them thick as a brick, thicker than a Snicker. Meg the Stallion level thick. It matters. All right. Shout out my physics teacher. Her name was Slick. Her son was a big Liverpool fan. Physics is simple. Force equals what? Someone in the chat tell me. All right. I'm not that smart, but I know this. What does force equal? What does force equal? Thank you, Nile Davis is a unit. All right. Thank you, Hayden. Force equals what? No, Johnny, this is more important. Yeah, we're talking about football, right? And anytime I mention Meg the Stallion on a football channel, which is predominantly male, that should excite you guys, right? Okay, we got the first part. Jeremy's got it. Force doesn't equal MC squared. All right. Force equals what? Thank you, Chris. Mass times acceleration. All right. So in the SEC, guess what? Most guys can accelerate at the same speed. It's the mass, right? And mass has the word ass in it for a reason. Okay. Got to be thick to succeed. Now, are there undersized backs? Yeah. But most of the good ones are freaking units. Quinshon Judkins, Cody Schrader. They're dudes, man. Like they're built like rocks. Okay. So that's why, like the Dennis Schatz is actually somebody I played against. He is on the smaller side, right? So yeah, he was a great player. He ran me over hard. But yeah, Dennis was a great player. But even then, he's just kind of, I don't know. I didn't, Hog John. Am I going with you to the game? When the game's tomorrow, right? If you got a ticket, let me know. I will drive up, go to the game. All my best friends live in Fayetteville, all of them. Okay. One just had his first kid. He was in my wedding, and it's something ironic. Okay, and I'm not making an Arkansas joke here. This is just the truth. All my friends were smarter than me. Okay. I would say probably of my close group of friends, about 20 closest friends, I would say probably 10 to 15 of them went to Arkansas, University of Arkansas. And 3 of them became dentists. Okay. There's never a shortage of work in Arkansas, and they're all wildly successful. They got kids, they got money, bro. And they couldn't hook me up with a Duke ticket. Who am I going to the game with? I feel like this live stream has been so good that one of you said, hey, you know what? I want this chubby Bruno Mars guy to go with me to the Arkansas Duke game. Truth be told, I used to work for Coach K. It's not a lie. Okay. I didn't work for him. I was the producer of his radio show a long time ago. And I've never gotten to see Duke play in person. So yeah, I would be very cool to see them. And I was with Coach K for one of his national championships. Now, I was based in D.C. at the time doing radio for Sirius XM, and I produced his show. I think he still does it with SXM. All right. Big stepper. Fayetteville and NWA. I'm part-time in Arkansas, part-time in Louisiana. Played high school football though in the natural state. But I like this. Y equals MX plus B. I love it. I knew Kingsley would know this. Yeah, Raleigh Williams III. I hate that his injuries. I think he could have played in the league. I really do think so. One of the biggest shocks for me was Jonathan Williams not working out in the NFL. I was like, Jay Will is so good. He had the speed and all that. So there you go. $1,500 for all inclusive tickets for what the whole season for Arkansas football next year. Hog John, yeah, you can email me. Let me see. So the game is tomorrow night, right? Let me see. This is crazy. You can email me carterthepower@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a message on Twitter at carterthepower on Twitter or Instagram. That's crazy. Now let me. I kind of want. I really do want to make this trip. Oh man, that's wild. I have not asked my wife yet to go on this trip. No. She is going to whip my ass because I've gone on road trips for games the past couple of weeks. All right. So yeah, this is kind of cool. I got the last second thing. Thanks to Bobby Petrino. But yeah, Hog John, I'm gonna wait till I get a message from you. At Carter the Power on Twitter or Instagram before you can message me, or you can email me, carterthepower@gmail.com. Saints jersey and LSU photo, and is that a Jaden Daniels bobblehead? It is, man. It is. And I'm proud to display it. Okay. It is weird though how many LSU fans there are in Arkansas. But yeah, I've never hid the fact that I'm an LSU fan. I feel like it would be like kind of disingenuous if I didn't I don't have as much like LSU stuff when I do Arkansas content, but I feel like it would be disingenuous if I took down like my Joe Burrow painting, my Jaden Daniels stuff and all that stuff. But I do I do collect some Arkansas stuff as well. I do collect KJ Jefferson cards. And there's a lot of Arkansas athletes that I like that have played for the school. CrossFit Arkansas. What's up? Where? Let me know where. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Let me know. Man, it is going to be correct, dude. My wife is about to kill me. Is about to kill me when because she tried to call me during the stream. And she was like, are you live or this news? We got Stuttgart in here. That's cool, man. Little Rock guy living in DFW. So this is one of my best friends, y'all, Jared A. He's been rocking with me for a while. This is kind of crazy. I don't believe this is actually happening. Osceola, what's good? That's cool. Covington, what's up, Grant? Let's see, Tennessee, Russellville. Where's Gentry located, Sam? Let me know. This is wild. I should just get my phone number out here. I should. It is. All right. Let me make sure I'm not getting Hog John. My phone number is 281-330-8004. Mike Jones. That's cool. So I just got the email. I just got an email from my guy Hog John. I won't get to sit with Hog John, but he said, "Hey, I potentially got you a ticket. So I'm going to see Duke, the Duke Blue Devils tomorrow night. That's crazy, man." Oh, this is gonna be so wild. So it's that's gonna be a crazy day of travel. Oh man. So I got to go up there, and I think I'm about 4.5 hours away from Fayetteville. Okay. Let me ask you guys this. Would you guys be interested? Because obviously you see the LSU stuff in the background. Would you guys be interested in doing like a DJ party or comedy? I've done stand-up comedy for a long time, or a DJ party or something like that, the night before the LSU Arkansas game. Okay. I am for sure going to the Arkansas game next year, for sure. So I'm trying to see if you guys would like to do something. We could do like a big night before tailgate hangout. It's the truth, man. I had when I lived and went to high school in Arkansas. Okay, I loved it. I did. No one gave me crap for being an LSU fan. I still spend a lot of time in Arkansas. Right, it's where I met my wife, and I'm still like all my close. Like, it's crazy. I don't know, Jared. I that would be nice if that's the case. Oh, this is crazy. So I just got a really cool text from a guy who played his high school football in Arkansas. I won't say who, because it's not out yet. But he just got a professional contract. So yeah, that's kind of wild. That's kind of wild. Hey man, I gave out my phone number, and yeah, y'all hit me up. That's what I do, man. You guys might not agree with me, but if KJ Jefferson comes back to Arkansas and actually has an offensive line and he balls out of control, you will remember when someone who's not even an Arkansas fan, in fact, is a fan of the team you hate the most, okay, told you to calm down. I look at this stuff every day. I look at the data. I look at the film. I look at all that stuff. I'm telling you. The fact that Sam Pittman beat Penn State and had the success he had is because of KJ Jefferson. Now, Felipe Franks is good, right? So there you go. Mr. Bloodline, I appreciate that. Now, this would be my question for you guys. During the season, I did live shows every Thursday night at 6 p.m., and I would get like 20 people maximum, which is crazy because like my Arkansas film studies go wild. And look, I always say this about film stuff. I am not a coach. I'm not. I don't pretend to be a coach. Okay. I just give you what I think is the best explanation for what's actually happening out there with my football knowledge. Okay. Football is not too complex of a game. There's a lot of complexities involved. But yeah, I just try my best to explain as simple as I possibly can. And you guys have found it illuminating, which is cool, which is very cool. Because of film studies, I got to go to the SEC championship game last year. Got to have a very nice dinner with someone this past weekend who has become one of my good friends, and he's someone that I admire. I've gotten to do really cool things because of these film studies, and now potentially you get and go to the Duke game tomorrow. There you go, Hog John. Hog John, I'm going to give you a call after we are done here, because I got your text a minute ago, and if that's okay, I'm kind of strange to get a phone call from someone it's like here. Okay. My rank of hatred of rivals: LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, Mizzou. Yeah, the true star rider, and this is the crappy thing about it is LSU fans just do not care at all about the Golden Boot. They just don't care. I do, okay, but most people don't rip. They don't, okay. Well, follow me on Twitter, Mr. Bloodline, at Card of the Power. Some of the biggest Arkansas Twitter accounts are people that are really good friends of mine. Andrew Hutchinson is a really good friend of mine. Best of Arkansas Sports, Andrew Hutchinson, really good friend. There's someone who has a really big Twitter account following, but with Arkansas, but he's semi-anonymous. He is a really, really, really good friend of mine. Trying to think who else. There is a pretty big Arkansas athlete out there who I'm tight with, but yeah, even though I'm not an Arkansas fan, they know that, but that's the cool thing about it. Yeah, y'all want Eli Drinkowitz to run up the score and be an asshole to you guys. He has every right to be. Okay. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know Trey Biddy well. I think he just followed me on Twitter, which is cool. Like, Trey Biddy's one of the most successful SEC personalities for any team. Okay. And that's awesome. Trey is really, really, really freaking good. There's no other way around it. I know John Neighbors. John's really good. Baz, I know Baz. Baz is a great guy. So yeah. Yeah, that does happen. I also have like a bunch of different channels, so there you go. You should, Bobby Shiz. Okay. I understand people like to crap on the battle line rivalry. I understand it. And I know a lot of you make fun of the presented by Shelter Insurance aspect of it. I get it. Okay. But rivalries take time. Missouri is definitely a willing rival. Y'all are about on the same level of like football success, right? They got a little bit more of a fertile recruiting ground to work with. But, you're 10 years into it. Not a whole lot of memorable moments in this rivalry. Lots of blowouts. The 2020 game was very compelling. The 29-27 game last year was really good. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Bobby Mother effing Petrino. And that's good, Brent. You want that. And that's a really good headshot, Brent. That's crazy stuff. Punky Broster says, I just realized I was watching an LSU guy. Why so many Hog fans here? Well, Punky, you asked them. My question for you is, why are you so hideous? You're having to rely on an AI photo of whoever this is. This guy. I don't know who this is. It looks like a guy that got rejected from the film Up or whatever. I don't know. Like, my question is, why does it matter who I'm a fan of? Like, yeah, it's not true. I'll tell you this. There's a lot of aspects of my life that would be a lot easier. I'm married to a Razorback fan. Her parents are super diehard Razorbacks. But just not how it works like that. Okay. No, you can't be a fan of both programs. You can't. Okay. Here's the only rule that I have for being a fan of both programs. Okay. I can have friends that played and coached and all that stuff at Arkansas. Okay. If I had a son or a cousin or something like that that played for Arkansas, then yes, you could be a fan of both programs. But other than that, there's just, like, I think you could be an Arkansas fan and like a Florida State fan, right? Those two schools will never play each other. All right. I think that's fine. But I think in the SEC, you can only have like one team you could say you're a fan of. Yeah, Punky. I am so angry, Punky. Like, I'm so livid right now, like pissed off, because I started a live stream and next thing you know, I'm getting to go see one of the best basketball programs of all time tomorrow night. And I'm also getting to see Duke. See, look, I made an Arkansas joke, and that was nice for you guys. Now I'm in a great mood. I've not been to Fayetteville in years. The last time I was in Fayetteville was for the friend I was talking about a minute ago. It's Dennis. It was for his wedding. 2020. Okay. Okay, let's go to this. Keep doing your thing. BP needs to be calling Will Rogers. All right, let me ask you this. This is a good question. This will be a good barometer. Type K for KJ Jefferson. Type W for Will Rogers. Who is the better quarterback? Tell me right now. Type K for KJ Jefferson. Type W for Will Rogers. All right. Let me know. And that will let me know if y'all know ball. Okay. Type K for KJ Jefferson. Type W for Will Rogers. I could tell you if y'all know ball or not. All right. And look, you could be a fan of as many teams as you want. My personal opinion, though, when it comes to the SEC, I want to be a fan of one team. Okay. Unless, of course, you have family ties, right? Like, for instance, I would guess Jeff Lebby is a fan of Ole Miss, right? Because he's coached there. His kids are probably fans of Ole Miss. But now he's at Mississippi State, right? So you're telling me that he just is going to forget everything about Ole Miss? No. Will Rogers is a cerebral quarterback. KJ is way better than Will Rogers. Okay. Will Rogers stunk this year. Everything that you think happened to KJ Jefferson this year also happened to Will Rogers. Brand new system that didn't really fit him at all. He had to make more than one read. And he was terrible. He was terrible. And this is something I respect out of you Arkansas fans. You fans watch my crap more than anybody else. I did a full film study on Mississippi State, Will Rogers. The volume of throws he missed versus Ole Miss was astonishing. Okay. I understand it's been hurt, but even before that, he is a check down merchant, one dimensional. Okay. And he misses a lot. Doesn't have elite arm strength. Now, is he a better pocket quarterback than KJ Jefferson? Sure. But for me, a lot of elite quarterbacks are system guys. There was one guy who turned out to really, really be a dude, and that was Minshew, right? But a lot of his guys, were system guys. So if I had to choose between Will Rogers or KJ Jefferson to be the quarterback of my team, KJ easily. That one's really not that close for me. And they're both record holders at their schools. Now, I do agree with this. In the intermediate game, Will is better. Will is better. Okay. But I also think I just never really was a Will Rogers guy. And I'll also say this, all right? What happened in Arkansas is not like something that was out of the ordinary this year, okay? Perfect example. Arkansas, all right? Arkansas stunk at quarterback this year at times. KJ just could not get it done this year. But you know who else had bad quarterback play? Kentucky. Kentucky brought in a transfer quarterback, and Leary stunk. Will Rogers stunk. Vanderbilt, we thought that they were going to be better than they were. Stunk. There's not many quarterbacks this year in the SEC that took leaps forward outside of Jaden Daniels, who was good last season, very good. And like this year, he turned into one of the best college quarterbacks ever. Statistically, there's no debating that. So, it's crazy how many quarterbacks actually regress this year. Okay. Now, we are reaching the end of the road. Be on the lookout. We'll do more Arkansas live streams if you guys are really hungry for it. Okay. I didn't block any of you guys. I was close. The Popeyes Arby's things was wild. I was like, no. Yes. Nima, if I get a $20 super chat, by the way, so far our super chatters, shout out to Jared, Roby, 101, Never Nervous. If I get a $20 super chat, we'll keep it going. All right. I am reaching 2 hours here, and I got another show I got to do tonight. I will give out a Rocket Sanders and KJ Jefferson. right now. You got one Walker White really bad. What if he doesn't want to go to Arkansas? Max Johnson actually probably wouldn't be that bad with Bobby, because he knows the system, right? And Max is getting older now. He's not going to be great, but I think Max Johnson can get you to 7-5 next year. Yeah, Ryan Mallett was special with Bobby Petrino. The only thing Ryan Mallett didn't have was the intermediate game. His accuracy could get a little crazy, but Ryan Mallett was so good. He really was. Shreveport? Let's go. I love Shreveport. He does have a low ceiling, but beggars can't be choosers at this point. If a guy with that many starts, okay, Max Johnson has been starting games since 2020, right? Max Johnson has something in common with KJ Jefferson. They both have won a game in the Swamp. And Max Johnson beat a really good Florida team in the Swamp, a really, really good one. Now, once again, he didn't play like the absolute best, but he made some plays, and that was his first ever start. Max can play, and if his brother came with him, I don't think he's better than KJ though. So there you go. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. We'll get a film study out on Bobby at some point in the near future. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom. And tonight we are doing. Okay, here we go. Bobby Shiz. Super chats. We'll keep it going. Nima. Oh, look at this. Send the cards to Nima. Yeah, Jared, we'll see you on the flagship tonight. Send the cards to Nima. That's true, Kingsley. There's more to it. So, Nima, if you're on Twitter, hit me up at Card of the Power. Or Instagram at Card of the Power. Either one. Send them to. Okay, here's what we'll do. So you don't want them, Nima? All right. Let's do this. Let's give it to Bloodline. All right, Bloodline. They're going to you, man. At Card of the Power on Twitter or Instagram. Hit me up, man. Yeah, A&M's O-line coach was very well paid. I think his name's Henson. Yeah, Long Paul. If KJ were to pack his bags, I would definitely, if I was Arkansas, I would definitely take Max Johnson. Okay. Let's go to Graham. Graham, I've seen you in here a few times. Good to see you. What do I think this means for Criswell and Singleton? Do you think Petrino would mold the offense around them or bring in his own QBs? Um, yeah, I don't know. It just comes down to what they want to do individually, right? Here's the truth, Graham, about being a quarterback in the Power 5 Division 1 level. There is no preseason, right? There's no way you can know if you're going to get the chance to be the guy anywhere, right? So you have to know as a Division 1 Power 5 quarterback, whichever school you go to, nothing is guaranteed. It doesn't matter who, right? Right now, Arch Manning doesn't have a path forward, a clear path forward, really anywhere, because we don't know. We don't know anything. Like, I'm for sure if Arch Manning wanted to transfer to like Middle Tennessee State, then he can have assurances that he's going to be the starter. But is he going to do that? No. Okay. Is Kane Archer the kid at Greenwood? Yeah, he did, but Lamar's transcendent. There's not any one of those guys walking around. All right, there is one. He's at LSU. But yeah, take a few more here. I gotta do another 2-hour show tonight. All right, guys, bloodline. It took him winning some card following me on IG. Tyler Wilson. There you go. But there was also another Arkansas quarterback from Greenwood who didn't work out, right? But then again, he was good at baseball. And Connor Nolan. Yeah, Connor Nolan was at Green. I called, I think, 4 of his games. So there you go. I will say this. Part of this move is to sell tickets. There's going to be people that'll buy tickets because there you go. Are we getting Chicken Express tonight? Why's picking up a fish plate? Dude, she is going to be furious when I tell her about the Duke thing. I gotta find a place to stay, though. This Mark Cuban news is crazy. He just got $3.5 billion for the Mavericks, and he's still going to own the team. $3.5 billion, and he's still getting to own the team. It's crazy. Dude, Drew Morgan will forever be one of the underrated SEC wide receivers. One guy I loved was Jared Cornelius. I loved Jared Cornelius. I love the way he played the game. So there you go. We'll let the super chat here continue. So Longpo, you believe in Kane Archer? Jelly Raptor, I love that name. I'm having a cold beer tonight because of this. Well, let me know. We got some Chicken Express slander. That's funny. Huh? Well, they got a free mention, and I'm getting their product tonight. Sure. I didn't know he was cousins with Devin White. This is crazy. I just got an interesting text. Let's go. KC Slims or Canes? What I get fish though from the Express. What is that what I'm having to eat at the end? Well, I'm already spoiled it. So there you go. All right, y'all. I do have to skedaddle. I do have to scram. I do have to get out of here. But there you go. Hit me up with the follow on Twitter at Carter the Power. Big congrats to Mr. Bloodline and Jared Roby 101. Never nervous. Bobby, appreciate you guys. It is Power Hour SEC. Bam. And tonight I am doing fried fish. Let's go. Let's go.